Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I just hit 10,000 subscribers, so a quick announcement on that. Thank you to all of you who brought me along to that benchmark. Really appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without you guys, obviously. And I'll see you for the next benchmark of 100,000, I guess. But yeah, let's talk about the video. I got an awesome video for you today. And this one is all about magic finding. Took me a while to get here, and I have a good reason for it, but you guys know that Magic Find's been in kind of a wonky state here the last couple leagues. I was at the forefront of the discovery of solo play Magic Finding God-Touched loot last league. Obviously, it went incredibly well for me and a lot of my community that was discovering that alongside with me, and naturally, I was going to revisit that this league after, you know, a lot of major changes again to rares. In case you were not aware, God-Touched loot was a huge part of the currency that was being earned last league. Dozens of divines dropping all at once, dozens of wing scarabs dropping at once, and many other things as well. This league, that got stamped out a fair bit and kind of smoothed out in a way where there's still these loot conversions, these kinds of loot conversions happening, but they're happening perhaps more frequently with much less intensity. I'll say definitely not seeing the crazy amount of loot drops. And I know there's a lot of you guys who were kind of doing some of the God-Touched farming last league, maybe in groups or through the calling service or even solo, but you haven't really seen any major evidence that it's still working really at all. And so there's a lot of major concerns and perhaps some perceptions out there that it's not really going well. And go figure, you haven't really seen a whole lot of evidence on Reddit, right? You would have thought you would have seen some crazy screenshots on Reddit by now. Well, that's one thing I would like to address, and I'd like to show you guys what's going on about that. So that is definitely one angle to this video. Also, magic finding isn't just about loot conversions. It's about actually just finding uniques. Of course, that's what it means traditionally, and not a whole lot of people are doing it. So I alluded in a previous video, when everyone seems to be doing one thing, doors tend to open for other things. And I do find myself in this situation where I keep wanting to put a reliquary scarab on all my maps because uniques seem to be worth a lot more than ever before. Just kind of overarching broad scale value of uniques. Yeah, you know, there's some uniques that are worth a lot less than they were last league, like Aegis Aurora, Doriani's prototype, definitely worth a lot less. That has a lot more to do with meta shifts than anything. But if you go on PoE Ninja and just look at the value of uniques, you'll see there's actually quite a few that are worth a lot. We got some new jewels. Jewels got a major change, so jewels are definitely worth a lot more than they used to be, generally speaking. Unique jewels. And some of the usual suspects still worth quite a bit, like Unnatural Instinct. Aegis Aurora still worth over a divine a piece. And, you know, many others as well. But there's one other major thing that I think I want to address more than anything else about uniques and magic finding, and that is the divine to exalt ratio, swap that took place. So, you know, this has been a hot topic as of the last couple leagues, but what many people don't realize is that this had an incredibly positive effect on magic finding uniques, just generally speaking. So while people are kind of down in the dump about God-Touched farming and how, you know, it got nerfed, so why would anybody magic find anymore? Finding uniques and the value that could be gained from that, it did not change at all. So a perfect example of what I'm talking about is an item like Shavron's body armor. So a Shav's is worth like 10 to 20 chaos baseline. That's like not even really worth picking up. I don't really generally pick up items that are worth 10 to 20 chaos. As a baseline, I'm not that interested in selling them at this point in the league. However, that particular armor, if it rolls even halfway decently, is worth up to a divine or more, if it just happens to roll that well. And that's just an example of one item that can be worth way more once you identify it than it is just as a sort of baseline, as what Excellence will tell you it's worth, or what PoE Ninja will tell you it's worth. Another great example is a Brass Dome. So a Brass Dome rolls between 1 and 5% all max res. If it rolls 5% max all res, suddenly it goes from being worth like 40 chaos to 4 or 5 divines. Something crazy like that. And, you know, those aren't the only two items. There are there's just tons and tons of uniques that are sort of mid-range to high-range value that can have their value doubled, tripled, quadrupled, or even increased by tenfold if they roll perfect or near perfect. So we're going to do 100 maps, and we're going to find some of those items. I'm definitely going to identify some of them. And I'm going to do something today that's a little different than usual. Normally I let excellence just count the uniques as their sort of baseline value. I'm not doing that today because our primary purpose of this video is to see how much value we can get out of Magic Find, like actual value. So I've been playing the league a lot, this league, and I've been selling a lot of uniques for amounts that are way beyond their baseline value, so I certainly know this works and that it is a real thing. So I'm going to be picking up all the uniques I usually do on my loot filter, probably the same as on your loot filter. Basically, uniques are worth 5 chaos or more, baseline. I'm going to pick those up, I'm going to identify them, and I'm just going to put them in my dump tab, and when we get through, we'll go through and kind of figure out the ones that are worth way more than their baseline. And if they're basically, it's like this: if they're obviously worth at least twice as much as the baseline excellence value counts them, I'm going to count them their true worth. And that's assuming that I can identify it easily by cross-referencing, you know, the trade site and everything. If there's very, very, very few instances of such an item that exist, I'll be extra conservative on that. I'll try to be conservative and be fair about that. But, you know, we're going to really get a good handle on how much it's worth. So what is the strategy today? The strategy does not involve divination card farming for once, even though I still think that's the best. Decided to go onto the map Dunes. Yes, everybody loves a little Dunes farming. I haven't actually made a video on Dunes in 2 leagues now. And we're going to be focusing on various shades of red, as you can see here. I've got the Winged Reliquary Scarab. We're going to do some Legion, some Bestiary, surprisingly, and some Breach. So this is basically a sort of classic Breach Legion template farm that'll be done on Dunes. Let's go ahead and start with the Atlas passive tree. Now, this is a very different Atlas passive tree than what you're used to seeing, I think. First, for one thing, I'm actually not going up through the middle, which I almost always do. Instead, we're going to start way off to the right because there's way more points in Breach and Legion that are given to us in 3.20, this league. It's kind of a double-edged sword. It means that I don't have as much to work with because if I choose to do Breach and or Legion, I kind of feel obligated to take all those points. You guys saw that the marketplace for Legion and Breach specific rewards, league specific rewards, was kind of weird at the start of this league, with emblems being cheaper than they've ever been before, Chayula Breachstones crashing in the marketplace extremely quickly. Things are obviously stable now, and there's still a lot of value to be gained from those league specific rewards. I don't like making a strategy that really has any chance whatsoever of losing currency. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but basically every strategy I do, I try to rely on league-specific rewards that are essentially guaranteed to drop in the maps. And as a sort of baseline, there's no way I can lose currency because at least if I'm picking up those things, like the emblems, like the Breachstones, like in this case, Chayula Blessings, and like all the currencies from the Legion chests, that sort of stuff, I'm going to be doing all right. We're also going to be doing a little bit of Beyond. Only had to invest 4 points in there. Beyond is a Sextant here, and Beyond obviously dropped some league-specific rewards. Only investing 4 points into Bestiary, so not having to invest much in there. I can't actually invest many points into those because I have to invest so many in Legion. This tree basically does feature all of the important Legion nodes that you could possibly take, and it features all the important Breach nodes. The only wheel I'm not taking is this one here, which is kind of a one that I don't think is actually really worth much taking. We are going to be forcing Chayula onto every single map, and that's especially important to take Tortured Dreams if we're going to do that. So I'll be seeing a lot of Chayula Blessings, a lot of Skin of Lords to be made. The gambling portion of this video is going to be extra exciting because we're going to be valing a lot of uniques for that jackpot implicit, and we're going to be making a lot of Skin of the Lords, and I'm going to be opening a ton of stack decks, like way more stack decks than usual, hundreds of stack decks, so definitely look forward to the gambling portion here. But anyway, you can see this tree goes up through here. We're going to block what we can. I usually take straight and narrow, but I can't fit it in unless I drop a quantity wheel. That just looks bad, so I'm not going to do that, and it's very valuable for magic finding, of course. We're going to along the usual side. I don't necessarily need to take Protracted Battle with my character the way it is right now, but I still think it's a great quality of life, and some maps, you know, monsters have way more life. Some of the Legion monsters have 2 or 3 times more life, actually, with the new passives in there. We're still taking Eater of Worlds. Quantity and rarity altars are going to be the #1 altar that I want to see on this particular farm, because I want that quantity and rarity to increase the number of uniques that drop and conversion loot potentially. Still going to be doing, emblematic, picking up some emblems, getting raw breach stones, Chayula breach stones off of breach lords where I can, and still going for the Templar, Maraketh Legion bosses, war supplies, not super mandatory, but might as well go ahead and do that. And yeah, getting the quantity wheel. I guess Harbinger is probably the best way to get in there. Definitely want the rarity that has to offer. Breach is really nice now, guys. If you haven't done Breach, you can open multiple breaches at once. You can crash your computer way more easily now than you could before. So not exactly a plus there, but I can attest that does happen a little more often to me now that we can open many breaches at once while doing a Legion, while doing all kinds of other things. Abyss would also be decent for a farm like this, but I'm not a big fan of Abyss, and definitely have to invest. It looks like you have to invest more points than usual to really make high use of Abyss. By the way, there was one alternative tree that I was trying out when I was testing, is one that involved Harbinger. So this tree has Breach, Legion, Bestiary, and Beyond featured in here, with not much invested in Bestiary and Beyond. The other alternative stripped away the points from Bestiary and Beyond and put them, and some of the Quant Wheel, and put them into Harbinger. You can see you wouldn't have to sacrifice all that many points to go full-blown Harbinger. I didn't like that tree in the end because I didn't really have the Sextant room to do what I wanted. I obviously had to drop Beyond, and I had to drop some breaches essentially to do that. So I didn't like that. But anyway, that's the tree there. Check it out. It will be linked in the description below. Also, my POB for the current character linked in the description below. My character is very strong now. I deliberately waited to do this farm until I had acquired this bow, which cost me 2.5 mirrors. Actually, I just made a highlight video purchasing this bow. This farm will follow the same theme as the Jungle Valley farm last league. We were doing God Touch farming. It is not an easy strategy to pull off as a solo player. You have to be geared to the nines. You need the kind of character that can handle going ultra fast and dealing with very strong enemies. At the same time, you're probably going to need the Headhunter for ramp up. I don't even think Mage Blood's probably good enough for this outside of some other insanely strong meta builds. But it is easier than it was last league because we're not facing off against absolutely insane Arch Nemesis God Touch monsters for the loot here. Just all the rares are much easier, but the sort of high octane play, just sort of blazing through the map, absolutely you want to have a character that can do that if you try to do this farm. Otherwise, if you're looking for a really good lucrative farm that doesn't require an absolutely insanely geared character that also has rarity and quantity on gear, I still recommend Strongbox farming because it's not nearly as needed. Let's go ahead and take a look here, see how much rarity I have on this gear. I have swapped out my... forgetting the name of it for a second here. Dying Sun for an Alchemist Gold Flask of the Order for this one especially. I definitely want to have the rarity, and it's going to look like I have 61% quant, 240% rarity, plus 60% rarity basically means 300% rarity when it's meaningful. So not off magic monsters, but for everything else where I'm going to be seeing a lot of uniques. Take a look here. This is my current to sell tab here. You see a lot of uniques, a lot of pretty valuable uniques in there. You can obviously see in the middle of selling them. This stuff flies off the shelf. I'm constantly putting things in here, constantly taking them off. Even got a tier 0 claw in here that incredibly realized it's actually not worth that much anymore. So it was removed from the loot filter. Still going to be leveling some gems here. As well, some enhanced supports. I got those set up here, just beginning their leveling process. And yeah, that is where we're at on the start. So we got the compasses to look at next, and then we can be on our way. A little over 10 divines are present here because the compasses are actually very cheap for an entire set of compasses. I don't know why they're so cheap. It's actually kind of really got me excited to do this farm. The Chayula specific compass is usually extremely expensive. It's actually pretty rare, but people can't get rid of them right now. It's unbelievably unpopular farm. And to be fair, the Chayula Sextant here doesn't actually increase the number of uniques that I find, except for you know, the skin of the lords to be made, except for that one. But I think there's a lot of value to be gained for doing this on this particular farm if it's going to be so cheap. This thing was 12 chaos apiece right now. I see this thing worth over a divine at league start. But the value of the goods that we get from it are a lot less, so, you know, lower investment, lower returns. But that's okay. I really like the Chayula farming style. It's much different than what I usually do, so it's a nice change of pace. I definitely like it. I will go ahead and put +2 breaches on here where I can. However, what's actually going on here is that I have selectively put my Beyond maps, world maps up front, and then I'm swapping to the Beyond Sextant later on, and then dropping the +2 breaches. So, I mean, you could do plus breaches instead of Chayula if you wanted. For me, I think this is going to be smarter. So, yeah, basically Beyond and then Forced Chayula. Then +1 Legion, which is another Sextant that was worth like 80 chaos for the entire league last league. Now worth 10 or 12 chaos. I mean, I clocked it in again at 12 chaos apiece. That's unbelievable to me that Legion is fallen from grace that much. But that just makes the investment so much cheaper and so much better for me, you know, as I'm getting ready to see how this goes, how this works out. Ironically, what I would have predicted at the start of this league, I would have predicted the Delirium Sextant to be the cheapest Sextant. Is actually the most expensive one right now, because we have Delirium on the Keurig map device down here, but I am having to pay 35 chaos apiece right now. I think this is actually going to go down in value, probably. This is kind of a high point. You're not going to see it even be 35 chaos apiece very often in this situation. But we have a very nice selection of 8-mod corrupted maps here. We're just doing 8-mod corrupted. You could potentially run this as like 6-modded with Delirium Orbs instead, especially if the speed factor is not going to be suitable for your playstyle. You're going to see when I do an actual map that this is really hard on maintaining the Delirium mirror. The Harbinger variant strategy makes it a lot easier because there's King Harbingers on the map. But I will explain what I'm doing in there, and you can kind of get a sense of it. You kind of have to clear on the go instead of like rushing the boss and doing it. Most people will have to clear on the go for the strategy, but that's all right. It's not that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and see how much this is all worth. Okay, so we got 48 divine. Now, look at this. I'm going all the way with it. Might as well put just a pedal to the metal on the magic finding. I wouldn't necessarily run like winged bestiary scarabs in this situation. One of the reasons I'm running beasts is because beasts are notoriously good at conversion loot. They were last league in God Touch loot. Legions was very good. Breach was always pretty good. It's even better now because we got a new notable that forces 3 rare monsters spawned that didn't used to exist before, I think. And then the last one's Beyond. So we have, again, Legion, Beasts, Breach, and Beyond. All 4 of those are very, very high quality monster types for dropping conversion loot. Now, conversion loot could mean like some raw divine orbs drops, some gilded and winged scarabs. These things will be featured on the highlights portion of the video for sure. Hoping to see a number of those. I don't know how many raw divines are going to be found, but you can see I got it. We're going to be counting along the way, so we'll try to keep that up to date. All right, so almost lost track there for a second here. I'm going to go ahead and plug in 48.12 divines. One more thing to mention, I did empty my bestiary or menagerie here. So we are doing beasts, and I am going to be, you know, trying to pick up whatever I can. You know, I don't have any Kraken Chimeras in here now. We'll see if I get any after the end. We got Plagued Phenumal Arachnids, I think, are pretty high. Any beast that is worth 10 chaos or above, I am going to count towards the end because, I mean, for God's sake, I'm putting a winged bestiary scarab on there. You better believe I'm going to at least count the beasts that I find in there. I don't think I'm going to get a huge amount of value from them. I'm basically just hoping that I get conversion loot from beasts or just raw uniques. They do drop a lot of items, and they can turn out to be uniques and, you know, valuable items indeed. So here we go. We're going to put all this on here. Just getting kicked off with map number 1. Just got to move my currency back in. Speaking of insane drops. I'm keeping track of jackpot drops. Again, you guys are going to be kind of surprised at the very end result. Just in the test run, of course, in the test run before this, I found an Eyes of the Great Wolf that sold for 100 divine orbs in 30 minutes. I wouldn't have found that probably if I wasn't magic finding. You might wonder how in the world did I get one worth that much? It rolled percent all attributes and crit multi. So I guess, you know, obviously an absolute mega jackpot for strength stackers. Very, very lucky that I found something like that. But, you know, there's an enormous pool of items that you could luckily find. And in 100 maps with all winged scarabs, we're damn near bound to find at least a few. Probably not something worth an actual headhunter jackpot quality, but well, I mean, there are going to be a lot of unique leather and heavy belts for sure. So you might wonder what I'm going to put on here. We're already forcing the Delirium Mirror. We already got beyond. There's some flexibility on here. If you're doing the Harbinger, you can do Harbinger there. You could run Fortune Favors the Brave potentially, but as you can see, I couldn't really even get in here very well because the Atlas passive tree is very unique in that sense. So I'm just going to be running Breach on here. And the cost of the Breach is for 4 chaos per map was included in the investment, as well as I basically doubled the values of the maps there. And of course all of the Sextants were involved. So that is where we got all of that 48 divine investment cost in here. Here we go. Finally, map number 1. And here's how I'm going to do this. So I have found rusted ambush. Okay, the best thing to do is to actually trigger a breach really quickly and then go out and kind of clear, because you notice I'm doing a deli mirror without any Atlas points invested in deli. That means this sucker is going to be here and gone almost instantly. So breach, in case you were wondering, freezes the mirror only while you're inside of it. When you're outside, it's progressing. When the breach finishes, it pauses the mirror for about 10 to 15 seconds, and that is where I'm getting most of the value. So, again, after much practice, I've noticed that it takes, you know, I know about how much time I have to go to allow the mirror to extend to the boss, and I did allow enough time. Now, the mirror is still probably frozen, but it's going to start moving here very soon. I also get a lot of headhunter buffs, so I can actually kill the boss very quickly. So here's my little secret on how I do this farm. I really, really, really want to get as many altars as I can before I actually start engaging a bunch of stuff. But I kind of have to start doing legions and breaches now anyway, because that deli mirror is going to be moving. I do have some grace period here because I can trigger the legion and then kind of come back. I mean, when you move as fast as I'm moving, when you're doing as much damage as I'm doing, I don't have to start opening a legion until the last like 5 seconds. Basically is plenty of time at this point. Okay, I always get sucked into there, of course. This is all very hard on the computer as well, so I will probably have a few game crashes. Hopefully that doesn't happen often. But you can see that kind of what that looks like. I try to at least open the boxes before I move along too much. Harbingers, or not Harbingers, rather Harvest, I'm just going to skip. I'm just going to skip it. I don't care about Harvest. It takes too much time. And I'm not doing like Divination and Reliquary. I don't think Harvest monsters drop very good conversion loot or many uniques either way. So we're just going to skip those. Oh, I was out here looking at the wrong Legion. Whoops. So you can see the deli mirror had just begun to move, basically. So I had a very good execution there on the deli mirror. It is very tricky to get that timing right. But anyway, just kind of replay the video, see what I did if you want to, on exactly how I kind of opened that initial breach and then step back in, step back out, allowed it to progress, the mirror to progress, and then just kind of holding on that way. For anyone who's really struggling with the mirror in this case, it's totally understandable. It's very difficult to pull off this style of play and to clear the map this way. You can just clear on the go. Don't feel too bad about it. You know, just start clearing. You see the legions, you see the breaches, you start doing them. And yeah, your altars will suffer a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. If you have a bunch of magic find gear on anyway, you can kind of overcompensate that way. I definitely don't recommend this for some kind of glass cannon play style, though, I mean, that is really asking for a whooping if you try to do this with a glass cannon build. You could do it with an aura support. I know there's a lot of people in my community who like to run like dual aura support. This looks like a pretty fantastic style to do, a style of play if your character is not quite strong enough to do it solo. It could be pretty fun to do this in a group. I think group play Dunes mapping would be pretty fun. I gotta be extra careful here with these Legion bosses are hanging around everywhere. Probably got some scattered and still alive. Should probably pay attention to that while I still have around 50 Headhunter buffs. Because if I go around trying to loot after the fact with no Headhunter buffs, it's gonna look a little different. The most number of Headhunter buffs I've seen, by the way, is somewhere around 70, I guess. Wow, very surprising to die right there. That's weird. Always seems like I die on the initial showcase video some way randomly. I only die like maybe once every 5 to 10 maps on average. So, yeah, I definitely lost a breach there, like completely lost the breach. And now I'm rocking no Headhunter buffs, so that's not good. But I think the map is actually done. Yeah, it's basically done. So, unfortunately, looks like this, it appears that this was an absolutely awful map as far as drops are concerned. Definitely not a good showing, but that's why we're doing 100 and not 1. So things are going to average out. Yeah, I figured I would die there. No buffs, and I didn't even have the mana to actually shoot because I didn't have a flask charge up. On the bright side, I can actually come back here and still finish this breach. Yeah, so I'm actually really lucky that the Beyond boss didn't spawn until really late. Quite often the Beyond boss spawns super early, but I think the choice of going Beyond is really going to pay off in the end. It feels bad whenever you start the map, you kill like the first 3 monsters in the Beyond boss spawn, but you gotta keep in mind you're only paying for 1 Sextant, generally speaking, to get Beyond. It's just 1 Sextant. You may get an absolute enormous amount of value out of it, or you may get almost nothing out of it. So who knows? Looting on the go is kind of out of the question. I usually get Shroud Walker that kind of prevents me from being able to loot on the go for the most part, but I do try to loot a little bit better than this, so I'm not just kind of running naked on the map afterwards. It looks like I did a pretty good job clearing out all the legions properly, otherwise there would be, a rogue legion boss hanging around here who would just completely murder me at this point here with no ramp up ups. Anyway, that's going to conclude map 1. Basically done there. So let's take a look here and let's just kind of glance, see how much loot I got here on this absolutely terrible showing of a first map. Not a single unique that was worth anything. Well, I got a museum map, I guess. A lot of stacked decks still. A couple of emblems. Almost a full breach stone. And yeah, so this is what it's going to look like when I don't get hardly anything of value. You can still see that I certainly got some value. There is absolutely some value in all of that stuff. So, I can never really lose really bad. I'm not gonna, there's no way I'm going to walk away from this not making currency, as we'll see in the end. Enlightened support, big find there. Yeah, that's not exactly magic finding, but that's finding something. Nevertheless. Whoop. And I know it's not corrupted. The best part. Ooh, Raw Divine next to Chayula Charge Breachstone. Ooh. Exciting. Alright, first Divine Orb. Yay. A little late, but better late than never. If it's a strategy like I did, if it's the same strategy I did the year or the league before or something and hardly anything's changed, then whatever, maybe just 16 maps. But Assuming it's a new strat. Oh, here we go. Got a nice scarab conversion, but I'm sad no winged scarabs drop. A little bit sad. Oh well. Wow. Intuitive leap off the boss. Count 'em, baby. First jackpot unique. I'm gonna count jackpot uniques as basically anything worth at least a divine orb. Like, by default, worth at least a divine orb. Oh, another winged scarab. That's fun. Pure breachstone. Whoa! Another winged scarab. Shit. Getting some winged scarabs today. Do I have scarab dupes? Nope. I do not. Ah. Failed. It's cleared right here. Just in time. Woo! How you like that? Pretty suave timing. Currency conversion. 6 chaos, 1 exalt, 1 orb of annulment. Unlucky. So we saw 2 high tier currency drops out of that. But not the divine. Basically, it's a lot like when I did my God Touch farming with no magic find. If you guys remember, I did that. Except it's maybe even a little worse than that. Pop divination distillate. Always. Forever and always. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, red star. What? Okay. Died like 30 seconds ago. Hey! Finally, raw divine. Obviously as a result of a legion. Oh, there it is. Second jackpot. You look at enough of these and you'll definitely find one. I think it's like 1 in 20, or no, it's probably more like 1 in 30 sage robes I see will be Dialis. And I see like 2 or 3 every map. Well, I don't know why I keep running no regen maps. Sucks. Oh, inspired learning as well. Okay. I enjoyed the 1000 Crimson Temple runs. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it a second time. People are quite sure that the drop rate on the Apothecary has been nerfed, so... How many wings is this? 2? 2 winged? Okay. Like everything is in the back of this map. Destroyed. Yikes. This is some weird ass shit. 4 breaches at once. He's crazy. What is he doing? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Elegant shield. The alternate pause champ. I'm afraid to look at it. I've been disappointed about 6 times this league. I was disappointed last night too, actually. When I was testing this strategy, I dropped one. No squires yet, but today could be the day. I don't know, guys. Should I check it now or should I wait? Does it increase my chances of it being a squire if I hold out to the very end? I feel like it does. But it's so irresistible. I want to check. I got Solaris touched on my side. Solaris, give me your boon of good RNG. The blessing of Solaris, come on. You've been holding out on divines all league long. You can give me this squire right here. Oh, it actually is! Oh my god. Oh, hey, Magic Fine's not dead. Didn't I say that in the intro? Magic Fine's not dead? I can't believe it actually is. So that's like the 7th. One of those shields I found this league actually turned out to be... The funny thing is the first one of those I found last league was a squire. You guys know if you make your loot filter so strict that it never sees anything except T1, T0 uniques, it increases the chance of seeing a T0 unique, right? I mean, technically it does, because your eyes will be able to filter out the nonsense more easily. Ooh, second divine drop too. Oh, no. Oh my god, 2 divines in one map. What? Hey, yep, that's actually a currency conversion. I mean, it is. Lucky one. The little yellow beast. You know, their quantity's not that big, the yellow beast. The red beasts are big, but yellow beast can be small. But the yellow beast pulled through. The jackpot uniques are an intuitive leap, a Diala's malefaction, and one more. I forgot what it is. I can't remember what the other one is. Maybe somebody in the chat remembers. Tabula rasa. Corrupted tabula rasa. Yeah. Dang, dude. That was a pretty good map. I enjoyed that one. A nice little currency conversion, big ass scarab explosion. Just clean map. Oh man, he got a swing off on me. I feel bad. Is there a guide to do budget tornado? I don't recommend it, really. Hey, looky there. Another jackpot. Unique. Ooh. Actually overdue for it, though. It's the first one in 20 maps. Should be finding that thing like right and left. I kind of was finding it right and left in the test runs. There are other content creators who try to appease players by coming out with a guide for a build like this on a budget of like 100 divine. This boss won't leave me alone. Oh, he's dead now. Ha! Got him. Oh, hey, that's a nice one. Not quite a jackpot drop, but close. It's a void battery. Sometimes if it rolls well, it is. Like, oh, we got a big scarab explosion, it looks like. Back a ways. Compasses I'm running now are Chayula Breaches, +1 Legion, Delhi Mirror, and Beyond. So I'm doing Bestiary, Legion, Breach, and Beyond as my strategy for getting one more winged scarab. My strategy for getting as much, you know, uniques and conversion loot, because they go hand in hand. Like if a particular monster type is good at dropping uniques, then it'll be good at dropping conversion loot naturally, because that's how the conversion loot works. Converts the uniques into something else. Hello, Innocence Touched. Oh, hey, you know you gotta find at least one of those in 100 maps. It wouldn't be a 100 map session without one of those. That looks pretty fun, actually. Yeah, just get yourself 5 mirrors and build a character and do the strat. Easy peasy. It doesn't actually require 5 mirrors worth of gear to do this, but I can't imagine doing this with less than 1 mirror worth of gear. Put it that way. Reading Jewel. Oh! 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 I think it's a good one. Actually, I forgot. I'm not even 100% sure it is. I think we got Storm Shroud. Storm Shroud? Yup. Storm Shroud. Got him. Got him. Magic Finding's dead, guys. Don't forget. Everyone told you it's dead. Really? The third one of these? The third one of these dead tier 1 armors? Oh my god, I thought I was the second one immediately after. I was about to freak out. Oh! I know you heard that sound. I know you guys heard that sound. That's the sound of absolute bliss. Utter bliss. The God-touched sound. Mmm. 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 Man, nothing puts a smile on my face quite like that. Woo. Just a couple of divines, no big deal. I don't know, I'm already farming Colonnade and farming Divination cards literally all league, so it also... One of my reasons for choosing Dunes is, you know, let's prove to the world that it's not literally all about Divination card farming. There are some alternatives. There, hey! Look at that. You guys see what that is? That's nice. And a uniques conversion right afterwards. Unfortunately, I think that happened outside of the Delirium mirror. I like it when he shoots a beam to actually identify where the hell he's standing. Oh, yeah. That's a few scarabs. Reminds me of that video I had last league. I'm gonna go pick up a few scarabs. It's more than a few scarabs. Conversion loot for the win. And I have literally 0 altars this map. I somehow did this map with no altars. Imagine if I had scarab dupes. Oh my god. I can't even see what's going on with that. I never even saw them drop. 6-link conversion, yay. Ooh, Void Battery. Not quite jackpot, but pretty close. Yo, loving the YouTube videos. Keep it up. You're welcome, man. Oh my god, Relicash boots too. Alright. That is a jackpot drop, actually. $16 gifted subs. Whoa, dude. Who are you and what did you do with all my money? Oh, you gave it back to me. Okay. Thanks, man. 16 gifted subs. I don't think I've ever got that many at once before. I just wanted to be on the leaderboard, I guess. I should cancel my work shift more often. Shit. If that's what I mean, I made more money in gifted subs than I would have in that 1 hour lesson I was going to teach. Is that how this works? Man, money's weird. Thanks for the additional gifted sub. Oh! Intuitive leap exploding in my face. Could have been better, but I'll take it. That's a third one of those this session. Number 2, Dialis Malefaction. They're starting to catch up now. 3 Doriani's prototypes, 2 Covenants, 2 Dialis Malefactions. Alright. They should all come out even, so. Another pretty big jackpot unique. Yeah, things are looking good. I'm glad I came back on. Last second. Breach, you can check ! Atlas if you want to see the Atlas. It's Breach Legion with a touch of Bestiary and Beyond. Going for maximizing unique drops and conversion loot. Of course, the Beyond boss often spawns way the hell too soon. But that's part of it. I mean, it only costs 1 sextant. You can get a huge amount of value out of it sometimes. I think it's worth. Looks like I might have spawned the... Yeah, I think I spawned the 10 breaches on this map. You can see how the breaches are all separated. Wow, this happened again? I think this is like third time this has happened. Oh man, and I got high quant rarity counts already. Already up to 200... What was it? 262% quant? Even more? Oh my god. Almost 300% quant already. This is going to be an absolute banging map. Yeah, this is 100%. This is 10 extra breaches spawned. Now, I have the deli mirror I got to contend with here a little bit. Going to be mighty annoying right here, especially. I did kill one of them. Another quant rarity altar. This is 316% quant. Oh my god. I better find some stuff on this map. This is S tier. This is probably going to be the juiciest map of the entire set. May not necessarily mean I make the most currency from this map, but as far as, you know, the sort of potential that is embedded in this map, I mean, it doesn't really get any better than this. Eyes of the Great Wolf, well, it's either worth 100 shackles or 100 divines. Probably 100 shackles. Oh, another Unix conversion, I guess, because that's Aegis Aurora. Let's go see about that. Oh my god, quant and max life? High quant roll and max life? Probably not actually that good. I don't know, quant is king this league. That could be really good. They have to spread out in a certain way. This might have literally same thing happened again. Probably not though. Red star off screen. Voidborn Reliquary. You know, I feel unbelievably overdue for that. Honestly, can't believe I find one of those like every 10 maps on average doing Strongbox. It's pretty obvious that Strongbox is amazing for the Voidborn Reliquary keys, and that rarity has nothing to do with the drops on it. So, anyway, happy to finally see that. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, that'll still count. I mean, it is a unique drop, so it's going to be a unique. Actually, I don't know if I count that or not. What do you guys think? Should I count Voidborn Reliquary key as a jackpot unique? I guess not. Ooh, currency conversion. That beautiful sound, music to my ears. It's small, but still feels good, man. Oh, completely missed those. Doop, 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 doop. Oh, I didn't see this red star down here. Heh. Another brass dome. It's like the third or fourth one. Maybe, just maybe, I'll give 5%. Certainly deserve it. Huh. Oh! Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That is going to be one of the uniques that is going to have to be manually calced in, like I mentioned in the intro. That is not representative of the actual value. Okay, that's a winner winner. Big winged scarabs. Six seconds left on this Legion. 6 seconds is plenty of time. I only needed 3 of those 6 seconds. Apparently. Oh, third covenant. Okay. That's fun. Oh man, Combs. Combs in the house. Big.
My spirits are spent.
Oh. I got so screwed, man. I can't believe how screwed I'm getting. Wow! Annuls are twice as rare as Exalts and Divines, yet I somehow still got 3 Orbs of Annulment, 2 Exalts, and 0 Divines on a currency explosion. I mean, that average spread is like 3 Divines, 3 Exalts, and 1 Annulment Orb. That would be the average result of that. So, I don't know, man. I really wanted to show people, you know, a halfway decent Divine Orb explosion, but I'm just getting absolutely nailed by bad RNG on that. What are you flying in there for? Lunaris touched.
Didn't even break a sweat.
Oh, got some massive winged scarabs. I think I might maybe have one of the best winged scarab hits I've gotten all league there. Let's see how many this is. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good. What? Oh, I gotta hit the thing, duh. Okay. Sure. Why not? Wait, what? Am I getting trolled? Where are the bosses? Going to be bad anyway. Oh, yep. Couldn't do it without finding it. The 5th Dorianis prototype in this run. Such crazy, awful RNG. You guys realize how much more currency I would have made last if Dorianis prototype was still meta? Oh my god. It would have been like an extra 40 divines. I want to switch my Dial of Malefactions and Dorianis. Can I swap them, please? Oh, now this on the other hand. This is the redemption arc right here. That's the redemption arc. Okay. I actually would have been super disappointed if I didn't see a single unnatural instinct in this, because I would typically see an unnatural instinct regardless. Like in a sort of, you know, medium grade magic finding strat. So seeing it in a sort of all-in magic finding strat, that's fitting. So I can go to sleep happy now.
My spirit is spent.
You always get loot when you complain. Yeah, I guess that's how it is. I mean, the loot it was already there though. It was already on the ground. Are you suggesting that the game just warped in the Viridian Jewel? Like after I complained, it just warped it into the map out of nowhere? Is that what happened? Maybe. Oh boy. Okay, everybody. We got it. All the results you could ever want. Took me a while to clean this all up and get it ready to present to you. I have nice and pretty here all of the jackpot uniques, including 1 Squire, 2 Diala's Malefactions, 3 Covenants, actually 3 Aegis Auroras, another 1 Tiding. I'll tell you why in a minute. 1 Unnatural Instinct, a Storm Shroud, 3 Intuitive Leaps, and a Ralakash Impatience I did count on there. On a side note, I did evidently find a second tier 0 unique as a Lionized Glare. I found 2 of these this league. I'm not 100% sure it's a... Actually, I found 3 of them this league, so I'm not really sure if it's actually tier 0. But it's there. And then I also have a enormous number of skins with Loyal, which we will, for the most part, almost all of these, we're going to hit up with a Blessing of Shaila and the gambling portion. I have some excess emblems here that are there because I'm counting separate the full sets. I do have, let's see, I think it was 34 full sets of emblems, which will not be tabulated in the excellence because I'm counting them on the side as a full set to sell TFT. You actually make more currency if you do that. And a lot of the uniques that are kind of in the sort of 5 to 20 or 5 to 30 chaos range are here in the bottom 2 dump tabs. I'm going to be Valorbing a bunch of them, including some of these jewels here. A whole bunch of 10% Sedemas, which I 3-to-1'd. This is how many 10% Sedemas I got in this entire run. 3-to-1ing them. So dump tabs E and F are not going to be counted here in the excellent. Now, these right here are the uniques that are much higher value than what excellence can detect. There is that third Aegis Aurora, so you saw it's a 390% roll. So that was a 3 divine value. Instead of being like 1.2, this is actually worth about 3 divines. This brass dome is actually worth about 4 divines. And then the 4 blue, 1 red, 1 green skin of the Loyals, for which I have 3, are actually worth a divine apiece. And even this one here is worth a fair bit more than the others. I also had a Hiri's Ire, I think you say it, with a almost perfect hold damage roll, apparently worth a lot, like around 2 divines. And yeah, I have a Daros's Defiance that I was also picking up and just valing on the go. This will actually be worth something if and when I 6-link it. I'll sell it for multiple divines because +1 level of Socketing Gems is really good hit on that. This Eyes of the Great Wolf is actually worth quite a bit. 18% increased quantity of items found is baseline 4 divines, and it's kind of hard to anticipate how much it's worth. I suspect I sell it for around 10 divines, 8 to 12 divines in value, maybe. I'm going to count this to 8 divines. I'm not 100% sure it'll sell for that, but I anticipate it probably will. So I also counted this at 8 divines. So very important that I let you know that I was adjusting some of the values on here because that is part of the farm. I actually expected there to be a much bigger laundry list of uniques that would be in this pile, but in the end, it's just these 9 items, evidently. Then, you know, all of the other sort of bubblegum stuff is in here. You know, and some other brass domes that are not 5%. Gruthkal's Pelt is in here too a lot. Maloney's Quiver, Calm's Heart, and actually that is something I am going to val, so I should probably move that. Yeah, I should move that over. As a matter of fact, we'll put it right here. And that is about it. An enormous number of stack discs. Let's go ahead and see what it all looks like in Excellence, and then we will, of course, find out grand total. Okay, of course, I've already been kind of looking at this here. Let's go ahead and let it refresh. 174 divines. So that obviously looks pretty good. It's already sitting that high on the gross. Let's just take a look at everything individually here. I think we'll start with currency. 1261 stack decks. I was pretty upset actually with the RNG on divine orbs. I assume that exalted and divines are still have the exact same drop rate. I've never seen a spread this lopsided before, even with God Touch farming. And again, there's no harbinger conversion loot here. I mean, virtually none anyway. 44 exalts, 26 divines. Absolutely feel like I got slapped in the face for that. You know, 26 divines is not even that impressive for 100 maps. It would be really, really good on the Crimson Temple, but I expected way more than that. I expected at least like, well, I expected somewhere around 40 probably. So definitely not happy with that. But anyway, we got all kinds of other stuff. Look at Beyond here pulling through pretty high on Tainted Orbs of Fusing. I was surprised to see that many. Sextants here, it all kind of downhill from there. I guess the Delhi Orbs are in there too. See what kind of divination cards I got. 3 Divine Beauties. Okay, the Chosen is a card that's popular there, of course, but nothing else really. Like 1 Patient card, nothing crazy. Scarabs. Now I did get a few winged scarabs, which we're checking here in a second, but this is kind of interesting. 3600 chaos worth of scarabs, and you can see some winged, definitely a few wings there from the conversions that you saw in the highlights. Let's see. I'll go back to divination just to see. 1400. Well, actually, that's counting the that's counting the scarab. I'm not really sure how to make it not count the scarab. Anyway, oh, one more, of course. Probably the most important one. Uniques. Here they are. All the way down, and Inspired Learning in there. 14,119 chaos. Wow. A lot. That is a lot. Alright, so all together, it's all here. And the Enlightens did actually count. I thought I was going to have to count them separately. Two Enlightens dropped in this session. It's all here. It was a lot. I think it took more dump tab space than anything I've ever done, actually, because the uniques take up a lot of space. I guess one more thing. Let's see on the Chayula front. 131 Chayula Breachstones. 31 Blessings of Chayula. 7 Enriched. 4 Pure. 6 Charged. That's a lot. I'm not really sure how I sell those. I guess I just sell them in bulk somehow. All right. So, how much did this turn out to be? First, we have to add what I have highlighted here. So, in this case, there's a lot more I have to adjust and add than usual. So, 20.33 was the uniques that you saw right here. This is around 20 divines worth of uniques. We also have 34 full sets of emblems, which is on that list, and we also have, let's see, it was 5 full rounds of enhanced gems. I could have honestly leveled like 9 or 10 sets. I wasn't even prepared to see as much gem leveling as I saw. It was actually insane how fast he's leveled. So I typically give myself 2 divines per 9 gems leveled. And I think that's pretty conservative, especially at this point. Also, there's going to be kind of a maps or miscellaneous portion where the Void Reliquary Key isn't counted. It's 3 divines. This Einar Memory is 1.5 divines. A couple Cluster Jewels that actually aren't worth that much. There, and a ton of unique maps that definitely add up. And then last but not least, we have all the beasts. I found 8 Krakic Camaros in here. I was surprised to see that. A couple of Krakic Vassals, 9 Venumal Plagued Arachnids, 5 Ferrocross Hellion Alphas, 5 Ferric Wolf Alphas, and 2 Tiger Alphas. There. And that is all right here. So we got the uniques, gems, beasts, sets, maps, as well as the miscellaneous. I included like the Void Reliquary Key and the Iron thing into the maps portion. Grand total was 61.20 divines adjusted. Added, if you will. So we have to add that on here. And again, the dump tabs are, I did make sure I have the dump tabs set up exactly the way so they're not, seeing certain things they shouldn't be seeing, and like double counting the loot or anything. So we see the adjusted gross there with everything included, and that's everything. I mean, that's including the Squire, that's including tier 0 uniques, it's everything. 235 divines minus 48.12, 187.55 divines, and this took right around 10 hours. It was, I was able to clear the map in about 5 to 6 minutes, depending on the map, and, counting a little bit of hideout time, it's about 10 hours. Of course, because of all this crazy amount of messing with the dump tabs, it took me a lot longer, but that's something I wouldn't normally be doing, of course, if I was just farming this like regular. So, looks like, for me, it was around, not quite 20 divines an hour. Pretty good. I mean, that's not amazing, but it's definitely not bad. For me, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I really just kind of wanted to showcase what you would get if you really did push the magic find up really hard, and try to see how much value you get out of that. I did actually intend to kind of see how much the league specific loot contributed to all of this. Kind of forgot to do that. I'll probably write it in the description of the video. Yeah, I'll do that. Check the description of the video if you're really super interested in seeing, that two-way breakdown between like, league specific loot versus just pure magic finding good fortune loot. Yeah, I'll put that there. Okay. I guess just for fun, here because the Squire is worth 17 divines, and in case anybody's up in arms about me counting a tier 0 unique, let's see. So it would have been 17 divines an hour if I exclude the Squire from the list. And, like it could have been a Mage Blood. It's the exact same chance of being a Mage Blood, I guess, being a true tier 0 unique. All right. Well, that's it. I got to do some gambling now. And the gambling is going to be absolutely bonkers, so lucky you if you're one of the people on Twitch right now watching this live stream. We are going to be, again, we're going to be valing all of these enhanced gems. I'm going to be valing basically everything in dumps G and H here. And also going to be blessing almost all of these Skin of the Loyals, as long as they, they have it like at least one red and one blue socket. I think I'll go and do that. So that's coming in a minute. Oh yeah, almost forgot. What was it again? How many stack decks? Oh my goodness. 1,261 stack decks. I better get started. Alright, let's go say hi to Einar.
I can't do this just yet.
With no controller support. What? The 9th one? What? I can't even pick it up. There's no space. Okay. Well played. GG, well played. Alright. I'm just going to put that here for a second, because I don't want it to accidentally disappear while I do the remaining 1,200 of the... Let's do that again. I was kidding, actually. Okay. I've been holding back my RNG, guys. I didn't tell any of you, but... Every 20 cards is going to be red star. The void could be. That's my first House of Mirrors for the league. Well, that was interesting. That's a lot of cards. Here they are, all the cards. There's a few really valuable ones. And a lot of not so valuable ones. But they're all here. I think I'm going to pick up these two here in case something happened. Yeah, that was not actually very enjoyable. Opening up over 1,200 stack decks. But when the 9th card is the House of Mirrors, I guess I'm not going to complain very much about that. Let me go ahead and show you a Val session of 54 enhanced support. So we're looking for, I would like to find at least 6 level 4 gems out of this, and then I would know I come out ahead. So let's see how many we get. Nope, no up. Well, one up on the second one. And the third one. Oh. Nope, nope. Already looking promising. Okay, a whole lot of nothing happening here. Oh, the Downs have taken the lead. Oh, up again. 3, 4, up, 5. Oh, okay. All I need is one more to come out ahead. Oh, there it is. Oh, God. This keeps hitting me over and over again. How many is that? I've lost count. Oh, another one. My goodness. And another one. What is going on? Wow. How many was that? 1, 2. I actually lost count. I don't even know. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I had a bunch of not happening there for a while. I was actually behind there in the middle, and then it just slammed them out. So many. Oh my God. I think I got like 5 in 8. 5 out of 8 at one point. 9 in 54. That's really good. That's really good. And they're still worth about what they've been. So I came out very much ahead in the gems. The stakes were pretty low on that one. It's not like double corrupting them in the temple. But I did do a little bit higher stakes on the Skin of the Lord. Now, I didn't actually check in great detail all of these, but we did identify one absolute massive hit here. This is a... My chat says it's a Ward Loop Pain Attunement one, and it's worth 20 divines. Around 20 divines. 3 blue, 2 red, 1 green. Pain Attunement. I have a couple other Pain Attunements. They come out to around 1 or 2 divines apiece as well, as... unfortunately, the socket colors off just a little, I guess. And then we had, let's see, a couple Mage Banes and an Eldritch Battery. I think 5 out of the 6 here are in the kind of the 1 divine range. But this one right here in the middle is absolute jackpot. So pretty happy about that. I didn't get a single Mind Over Matter at all. So it's kind of sad about that, but oh well. Let's see, on the Val Orbs, for valing all of the uniques. This is not very anything really special. I did get Corrupted Blood immunity, Might of the Meek. Apparently this is about 1 divines. Actually got Reservation Efficiency on the Interrogation, also about 1 divine. +1 Prism Guardian. Not exactly sure. I don't think it's actually that's super great. And then a +1 Socketed, not good. But we did get a massive jackpot here. And I did manage to pull out of the hat an Elemental Weakness on hit. It's hard to say what it's actually worth. I think it's going to sell for around 10 divines or more. The market is not very stable on this one, I think. But absolutely, gambling. Big thumbs up on the gambling there. Very, very good. I'm not going to be doing any kind of gambling with the high value items here. I'm just going to sell them. So I came out way ahead. Certainly plus 250 divines. No, counting the counting the House of Mirrors, probably almost 300 divines. Personally, coming out ahead on this farm. It's pretty crazy, but you could probably tell I'm a little tired. It was a lot of back end work to set up all this stuff so you guys could see it clearly and cleanly, so I hope you appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, actually, running those maps, and it was a nice break from strongbox farming. So that is essentially my final thoughts. As far as recommending this strat, you know, it's definitely going to be much higher on the demand of the character. It was not easy to do that strategy, but you could do it with like delirium orbs. I think you could farm it that way. Wouldn't be all that bad. Instead, to kind of take your time in the maps, you could do it with Harbinger, as I mentioned earlier, changing the tree a little bit. In the intro, I mentioned that. And as far as magic find in general, not dead. I don't think it's dead. I mean, it definitely did all right. I knew that if I came out with it, even if I just hit like 10 divines an hour, I knew that would have been good. And definitely, regardless of time, because this strategy was more of a currency per map than currency per time. Let me double check here. So it looks like... Yeah, it looks like I came out around somewhere between 150 to 200 divines in 100 maps. So I guess that's 1.8, 1.5 to 2 divines per map, depending on if you count the squire or not, and some of the other fortunate things. So absolutely, totally didn't even come close to losing currency. And again, the description will have sort of a little bit of the breakdown as far as like, you know, how much currency did the emblems, the breach stones, the blessings, and all that stuff, how much did that actually comprise of the actual farm versus how much of it was, you know, luck, so to speak. But do enough maps and you never have to worry about getting lucky, I guess. All right, so that will conclude this perception versus reality. The God Touch farming, yeah, I should mention that. So the God Touch loot, yeah, definitely underwhelming now. But that's not the primary reason to magic find. You know, people have always been magic finding with or without God Touch loot anyway. I would like to see them bring it back in some form that would actually take into account player rarity. I know a lot of people don't hope they do that, but I do, personally. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about magic finding in general? What do you think about this strat? What do you think about the loss of God Touch farming? Is it too overpowered? Is it not good enough? What's your opinion? And I guess you can compare it to apothecary farming, because that's a clear winner in this case, and that is the final thought, that farming the apothecary in Crimson Temple is going to be a lot more lucrative than this, no matter what I do to this kind of strategy. It's going to be the apothecary. That's where the money's at. If only that mage blood wasn't worth so much, maybe things would be different. Oh well. Until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.